Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. If you probably know right about now, we are now in day 12 from New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax. Now, we're only going to focus on Block B matches only. So we will see right now who will be in the lead in the tournament because, as you know, we may getting closer and closer to halfway point, and then we'll move on from there. And then we move on with NXT. As you know, battle lines are being drawn for upcoming Heatwave that will take place later on this month. But, of course, we've been seeing the ravage of Dark State making their places known that they are going to be the dominant group ever. And, of course, some implications involving TNA, which, as you know, in 2 weeks from now, we will have Emergence. So we'll see how things will progress from there. But, first things first, we're going to be reviewing All Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's been a while since I actually reviewed, and this is much of the recent event that took place this past Sunday on August 3rd called the Nettou Summer Action Wars. And this one features many matches, and of course, this one features the debut of Odyssey, or formerly known as Odyssey Jones, and of course Zion. Many of you guys remember those two guys, part of WWE's NXT. So they make their debut and they form a faction with Shotaro Hashino, calling themselves Havoc. So this is going to be a real fun event, and of course it features two title matches and a final match for a junior heavyweight competition. So it's going to be great to see what's going to happen there. And then finally, as always, we will cap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's get down to business. So, let's begin with All Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, well, it's been a while since I actually made a review with Japanese promotion All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, for some of you who are new, you're probably going to ask me, is All Japan Pro Wrestling and New Japan are related? Well, in somewhat they are, but not in the same way. You see, their fighting style is different. New Japan is all about strong style, while All Japan is all about King's Road. So basically, hopefully I do a video to try to discuss that. But yes, they are related. Both founders from both promotions are in fact knew each other in the promotion that they knew until they went their separate ways and formed their own promotion. In case anybody asks, now if you guys want to ask me questions about that, please leave a comment down below, and hopefully I'll give you enough information what you need to know about All Japan. Now, this show took place recently, this past Sunday, and they just started the latest tour with the Nettou Summer Action Wars 2025, and this would happen on the 3rd of August, this past Sunday. Now, our first match was a bit of a 5-on-5, a 10-man tag team. Team number 1, we have Fuminori Abe, Hikaru Sato, Dan Tamura, Seigo Tachibana, and Yuko Miyamoto. They take on Shota Kofuji, Ryu Ino, Naruki Doi, Seki Yoshioka, and Musashi. So basically nothing too special about this match. I mean, if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scenes, may you some recognize. But however, this match ended with Naruki Doi pinning Seigo Tachibana, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But Naruki Doi did a little post-match promo. Don't know what he said, but yeah. So that's pretty much what happened. Now, our next match is one of 2 title matches. This is for the Gaora TV Championship. Takashi actually is the current champion. Some of you may remember him. He was with Dragon Gate. Didn't know that he actually made the jump to All Japan. He takes on the challenger Kuroshio Tokyo Japan, but many of you may remember him in NXT, known as Ikemanjiro. So you probably can guess there was going to be some interesting moments. I mean, Ikemanjiro, he is a very funny guy. However, for some odd reason, I didn't see what was happening, because towards the end, he was coughing out blood or whatever. I don't know what Takashi did to him, but it did give Takashi enough time to apply the pumping bomber, which is a strong, powerful lariat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have tag team action. We have members of Okudo-gun, consisting of Okudo Omori and Kuma Arashi, or as I like to go, yep, that's Kuma, who actually does that all the time. They take on Davey Boy Smith Jr. Many remember him as Harry Smith in WWE, and also he is the son of the late British Bulldog. He teams up with Daisuke Sekimoto, which was very interesting because no one expected him to team up with them. But it was a pretty good powerhouse type of match, but in the end it was a diving body press by Sekimoto onto Omori, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match is a singles action. We have Naoya Nomura taking on rookie, what's his name again? Oh yeah, Honda. Basically nothing too special about this, but those who know Nomura, he is a strong and hard-hitting, tough dude. You probably would expect. He's one of those guys that he likes to get into competition with his tag team partner, with Fuminori Abe, and he hits really hard, but he was able to pick up the victory when he in fact applied a submission move, and just like that, he picked up the victory. Our next match is we have the debut of Havoc, consistent of former WWE NXT superstars Zion and Odyssey Jones, now goes by Odyssey. They team up with Shotaro, calling themselves Havoc, and they take on the Saito brothers, Senor Saito, Ren Saito, and his brother Jun Sato. Now, I have to say this was a very interesting debut for Havoc, because if you ask yourselves how these guys are going to coexist, how these guys are going to coexist as a cohesion unit now that they've just formed, I don't know, but it was impressive. But we did a bit of see of the house fights, because if you guys ever seen the Saito brothers, Jun and Reed, they are in fact 2 tough individuals. But when it comes to Odyssey Jones, he's almost the same as them. But Odyssey Jones was able to pick up the win onto Senor Saito when he applied a black hole slam, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Talos. he takes on Ren Ayabe. Nothing too special, but we do have two tall individuals facing off each other. And it was very hard to determine how this was going to end because they're two. But those who never seen Talos, he's a wrestler you may have seen in NWA. He teamed up with Daisy Kills. They together had a team. I don't know what happened to him. If he was released from NWA, that's something I don't know. But it was, of course, Ren Ayabe that picked up the win when he applied I don't know if it was a Falcon Arrow, but it looks like it. And just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. However, we did see, of course, Talos was given a shirt to join Okamura-gun, but he declined. He said he wanted to team up with Ren Ayabe to form a tag team together. So it's a very interesting thing what they're attempting to do. So hopefully we see more. Now, our next match is the last of the two title matches that were assigned. It's for the NJPW World Tag Team Belt. We have the challengers, Hideki Suzuki and Kengo Mashimo. They take on Business Tag Team consistent of Kento Miyahara and Yumi Aoyogi. But I have to say this match was one of those matches that were like the toughest ones ever. I mean, I wouldn't expect so much to see it. I mean, those who knows Hideki Suzuki, he is a good wrestler, not to mention a good technical wrestler. I mean, he's one of those guys you probably would see him face guys like, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson and Chisetto, those guys. But he was able to pick up the win when he applied a Spanish suplex onto Kento Miyahara, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new tag team champions. Our main event is the Zennichi Junior Festival 2025 final match. We have Atsuki Aoki versus Rising Hayato. Now, these two guys know each other too well. They have been tag team partners before in the past, and now they're basically rivals. If you probably ask yourselves, does this have to do with who is going to be at the top of the junior heavyweight division? Oh yeah, it was basically about that. And some of you may ask me if he's related to Yumi Aoyogi. Yeah, they're brothers actually. But I have to say it was a pretty good match. I mean, they were determined to destroy each other in the process. But there was one attempt by Aoyogi who in fact tried to apply a 450 splash, but failed miserably because apparently Rising Hayato saw that coming and pulled up his knees. But, you know, the old saying goes, a second time is always the charm, and that allowed him to pick up the win to win the tournament. But however, during the post-match promo, the current junior heavyweight champion, Seiki Yoshioka, looks like he's acknowledging his challenger for the title. So we'll see when that happens. I'm pretty sure that match will probably happen soon. So I'll let you guys know when that will happen, and then we'll go from there. But as of right now, we are officially done with All Japan. Let's move on to our next review, which is, of course, Day 12 of New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax. Okay. As you know, we continue with more of New Japan Pro Wrestling with, of course, the G1 Climax. Now, this is their much recent event. We're in day 12. Now, we're going to focus on the B block matches only. Now, first things first, as you know, I mentioned time and time again that Gabe Kidd has been officially out of the G1 due to an injury. He was supposed to be facing against Shota Umino, so due to the fact because of his injury, this match was officially forfeited. So now Shota Umino has gained the total points of 8. So basically, that's the points now that he has. 2 extra points are from the forfeit. So that's pretty much what happened. Now let's get into the 4 matches involved. The first one we have is Konosuke Takeshita versus Yoshihashi. Now, so far, these two men are tied at 8 points each. So the real question is who will be jumping up ahead. So this is one of those matches where, okay, who's going to be at the lead? And of course, I think many people probably would have been either on the side of Takeshita or Yoshihashi. Personally, I probably would love to see Yoshihashi doing it. I mean, because I know that he is doing this in honor of his tag team partner and friend, Hiroki Goto. But Takeshita, as you know, he is that good at what he does. He will do whatever it takes to win, even pull up every stop as possible. And that's exactly what he did when he applied the Raging Fire. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have Ren Narita, the biggest scumbag of the earth, taking on Great-O-Khan. Now, of course, when it comes to Ren Narita, you know he'll do whatever it takes to win, because the last thing I think New Japan and the fan base want to see is a member of the House of Losers winning the tournament. That's the last thing they need. But, however, of course, Ren Narita decided to sneak attack Great-O-Khan from behind, which, of course, is his usual tactics. But one other tactics you forget is, of course, is when Great-O-Khan thought he won the match, but nope, dumbass Kanemaru showed up again to help out. And then, of course, the tables were turned when Jacob Austin Young decided, hey, ding, ding, ding. Narita's like, yes, I won. It's like, sorry, Ren, screw you. So basically, like the old saying goes, payback's a biatch. So basically, Ren Narita got a taste of his own medicine because he allowed Kanemaru to do this. But however, of course, I think many people would have wanted to see Great-O-Khan take out Ren Narita, but Ren Narita applied a submission move, and just like that, and I hate to say this, he picked up the win and got his 2 points, and he has a total of 10. So he's tied currently with, of course, Konosuke Takeshita. So this is going to be a very interesting dilemma, so we'll see where that goes. Our next match, we have Drilla Maloney taking on El Phantasmo. So far, we know we have seen Drilla Maloney has picked up some good wins. He was unsuccessful defeating Konosuke Takeshita, but now he's facing El Phantasmo. El Phantasmo has not been successful getting the next necessary points. He has been losing. He only had one match that he won, and that match was against Takeshita. So you probably ask yourselves, will he able to pick up a win? Well, I wasn't too sure because Drilla Maloney is a tough SOB. You probably can guess that. But it was El Phantasmo with the Thunder Kiss 86, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. So Phantasmo gained his next 2 points, totaling a 4, leaving Drilla Maloney at 8. So basically, Drilla Maloney is still alive, but El Phantasmo, he's in a situation where either he can be eliminated or he can try to hang on a little longer. So that's a very unclear question, so we'll see what happens. In our main event, we have Shingo Takagi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Now, of course, it's no secret that these two guys have faced off each other before. The last time they faced off each other, it was for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, which Zack Sabre Jr. came out on top. But now, Shingo Takagi can rectify that loss into this match. But the real question is, can he pull it off? Zack Sabre Jr., as you know, he is determined to win this tournament to ensure that he walks out as this year's winner. But he has to go face against a man who's that strong, who is a powerful wrestler. But, as you know, Zack Sabre Jr. is a technical wizard. He knows exactly how to pick up some wins. You would have assumed he would have picked up the win with using the Zack Driver or the or some of his submission techs. Nope, he picked up a pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he picked up the win. So he gained the total points of 10, tying with both Takeshita and Narita, leaving Takagi with only 6 points. Now, as I mentioned before, we are currently in the B block, currently tied with 10 points each by Takeshita, Narita, and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, we do have the same situation, of course, in Block A, but now we have to see who will be moving forward. So we're going to follow along as we go. So as of right now, anything could happen. So until right now, let's end things here with New Japan and move on with NXT. Okay, our final review, NXT. So as you probably know, right about now, we have begun the battle lines for NXT Heatwave. So this is going to be interesting. Now, we opened up with Blake Monroe taking on Kelani Jordan. Now, things would have gone normally, except there was a problem. Well, let's just say Blake Monroe thought she got rid of Jordan Grace. Well, as you know, the old saying goes, welcome to your nightmare, has popped up out of nowhere, and Blake Monroe ran like the coward with her tail between her legs, giving Kalani Jordan the win, even though it's not the one she would have opted. But it's funny to see that she's probably laughing knowing that, well, Blake Monroe claims that she's tough, but she ran. So that's how it goes. And of course, she was telling this to Lola Vice later on. I'll get to that in a bit. Now, Andre Chase is giving, of course, Uriah Faber and, Kale Dixon some pep talk because they're in for a fight of their life because they are now getting an opportunity of the NXT tag team belts, and they face against Hank and Tank, which that match it was happening next after this. Now, you would have assumed that there was going to be it was going to be an easy peasy. No, I have to say that Uriah Connor and, of course, Kale Dixon really pulled off some stops, really tried to hang it in there as long as possible. But however, as you know, Hank and Tank have really become a very good cohesion team. But they were able to pull all the stops onto Kayla Dixon and picked up the win thanks to Hank pinning Dixon. However, the victory was very, very short-lived until all members, both teams, were attacked by none other than Dark State. Dark State later on made a statement saying that they are also gunning for the NXT tag team belts, and this is the last thing I think anybody needed. Now, Jay-Z Jane, as you probably know, is right now holding on by a thread, knowing she has enemies on two different fronts. The one front is, of course, the NXT locker room and then the TNA locker room. However, that little chihuahua, Ash by Elegant's little servant, showed up telling her that this will be the last time that she'll hold that belt and thinking that she's going to walk out. But however, of course, Laney Luck showed up out of nowhere and had Jay-Z Jane convinced that Jasmine Nix should polish both belts. So I don't know what that was about. Now, Miles Bourne, as you know, he's in for a fight of his life. He's facing against Lexis King. But before he made his way to the ring, he bumped into Tavian Heights, his former teammate, part of the No Quarter Catch crew, telling him that, beat Lexis King. But, of course, he did reveal that he has something in store in mind. And, he has to watch and see. Now, Tatum Paxley also has a fight of her life. She faces against the NXT Women's North American Champion, Soruka, and of course the Culling has her back, so we'll see what happens. Now, our next match is Miles Bourne versus Lexis King. Now, Lexis King, as you know, has been going around running his mouth, telling the entire world that Miles Bourne is a fraud. A guy who is deaf should not be wrestling. So they think that he is not really deaf. But we know that when it comes to deaf people in real life, of course, that somehow their sixth sense begun to kick up. So that's always been one of the cases we've been seeing. And Miles Bourne, I have to say, despite him being bent, he's able to pick up the slack in some capacity. You would have assumed that Lexis King, in this capacity, he would have cheated his way through. But nope. Miles Bourne was able to pick up the win when he applied, of course, Born Again. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Thea Hale taking on Nia Jax. Now, of course, Thea Hale is in for a fight of her life because Nia Jax, as you know, is a big individual, and the real question is, can she defeat someone like, of course, what's her name? Nia Jax. But unfortunately, it was not the case because from what I can see, it was impossible until, of course, the Annihilator actually put down Thea Hale. And just like that, Nia Jax picked up the win. However, during the post-match, she called out Lash Legend. And that Lash Legend comes out. All hell broke loose between these two ladies, even when security showed up. Even in a later time, we did see those two continue to get in each other's faces, try to beat the crap out of each other, even in the backstage area. So we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if this match will take place at Heatwave, because now this is the battle of the dominance in the female division. Now, Ava had a nice talk with Jordan Grace. Apparently, as you know, Jordan Grace said that she'll be cleared soon, so basically she decided to put her in the match against Blake Monroe. And of course, she did tell her that many of the women in the locker room are not too subtle with, of course, with Blake Monroe, so she deserves an ass beating. That's what she told her. So that's pretty much it. Now, Obafemi, as you know, retained his NXT championship, and it gives props to Inamura and breaks the fight of his life. However, Trick Williams, as you know, he made his presence known about hopefully getting another opportunity NXT title. However, Javon Evans had other plans. He told him that I'm after the big dog, but I was referring to Obafemi. That's exactly what I figured, because here's the thing. Trick Williams was trying to say to himself, I'm the big dog because I got the TNA World Championship. But I think in Javon Evans, that title doesn't mean squat to me. This is NXT, not TNA. So he's saying, you're making this all about you, dog. That's what you're doing. And of course, Obafemi was like, you deal with this. He's like, no. Oba, just stay here. I got something I want you to hear. How about this? You and me, Trick. Whoever wins this match will face Obafemi for the NXT title. So Obafemi likes, of course, what he's hearing, because he knows, Javon Evans knows too well, as much as he wants to get the NXT title, there's only one problem. It's, of course, Trick Williams, who is determined to gain back that title. But, however, their little promo was interrupted by, of course, former TNA World Champion and X Division Champion, Moose. As you know, he is coming for Trick Williams for the TNA World title, and the stage is set at Emergence. But, as you probably know, Moose is not done yet, because, as you know, he still has unfinished business with Obafemi until the lights turned out, until we saw, of course, once again, Dark State showed up out of nowhere. And then Javon Evans, Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Moose took care of business. But we later did see, of course, all four men talking to them about Dark State. So next week we will see Evans, Moose, Femi, and Williams. They will team up to take on Dark State. However, Ava was interrupted by Tank and Tank, who had enough of Dark State. So Ava said that they'll put their tag team belts on the line at NXT Heatwave and faces two members of Dark State. So everybody wins. Now, Charlie Dempsey, as you know, he is not entirely in a good mood because, as you probably know, he lost Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights from No Quarter Catch Crew until Ren Sinclair decided to do the Joe Hendry theme song. And of course, Charlie Dempsey's like saying he's not going to show up and then say his name is. He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. So, yep, he just showed up coming out of the refrigerator. I'm like, Jesus, what's next? Coming out of the sky? So basically, that's what happened. He tries to cheer up, of course, Charlie Dempsey, but Dempsey was not having it. So I don't know what's going to happen now, but I have to say it's very interesting of an interaction. Now, our next match, we have Yoshiko Inamura taking on Stax. As you know, a lot of things have happened. Stax got in the way trying to get, as you know, Inamura has issues towards Briggs for what happened, costing him his match against Obafemi. And of course, Briggs cost him the match. And then Stax had Briggs' side. Now, there was a good moment where Inamura bitch slapped Stax right in the face. And Ariana Grace, if you all remember, I mentioned this, Ariana Grace and Stax are real life dating behind the scenes, as you know. So they kind of put on the scene. However, unaware to the referee, while the ref was dealing with Ariana, Briggs showed up and took him out, and then Stax pinned him. And just like that, it was completely over. Now, Ethan Page, as you know, made his presence known once again, celebrating the fact that he defeated Santino. And then, of course, Tavion Heights made his appearance. As you know, he mentioned he had something cooked up, and this is it. However, of course, Chelsea Green, as you know, a fellow Canadian just like Ethan Page, decided to show up saying that he is the greatest champion. But, of course, Chelsea Green said, you can't hit a woman. You're right, I don't hit a woman. And then he punched Ethan Page. So you probably can tell all hell is going to break loose. Now, Lola Vice was having a nice conversation with Kalani Jordan, seeing what happened, of course, in her match with Blake Monroe. However, Fatal Influence showed up out of nowhere until Jasmine Nix said that next week there's going to be a match between, of course, Fallon Henley and JC Jane, even though Jasmine Nix called Fallon Henley JC Jane's sidekick, facing off, of course, Jordan and Lola. So this is going to be interesting to see. Now, We did see an interview with Kelly Kincaid talking with Saints, talking about Ethan Page and Jasper Troy. So it seems that he is now known has to deal with Jasper Troy one way or another. So that's going to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if that match could happen in Heatwave. Our main event is the NXT Women's North American Championship, Tatum Paxley versus Sol Ruca. Now, of course, X Factor's here. You can see the calling will do whatever it takes to win. However, in this moment of matter, you would have assumed that Tatum Paxley has the full support of Izzy Dame, Sean Spears, and Nico Vance. However, it appears that Izzy Dame made a mistake and caused the match for Tatum Paxley when, of course, the Soul Snatcher happened. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Sol Ruca retained the championship. And just like that, I don't know what's going to happen with the calling, but we'll just have to wait and see. So right now we are officially done with our reviews. Let's move on to our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin as usual with upcoming events. Now, on the 23rd of August, a British promotion, RevPro, will be celebrating 13 years of them being operated, and they announced 2 matches that will be taking place. The first one is for the RevPro Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship. The current champion, RKJ, or better known as Ricky Knight Jr. Many of you may know who he is. He is the nephew of Saraya, also known as Paige. He will defend his title against Shaw Samuels, who is putting his career on the line. So is the matter of title versus career. Now, another match has been mentioned in this particular event. We have Michael Oku. He'll take on the current TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. So this is going to be a pretty good match. Now, as you all know, GCW will be doing a 2-day event in Atlantic City for Homecoming. For the 23rd of August, they announced the GCW World Championship will be on the line. Effie will defend his championship against KJ Orzo, formerly known as Fuego del Sol. So this is going to be a very interesting match to follow. And then finally, of course, the House of Glory will have their Philadelphia event that will take place on the 9th of September. And the House of Glory tag team belts will be on the line. Main event, Jay Lyons and Midas Black will defend those titles against Crew from AEW, Action Andretti and Leo Rush. Now, recently in their much recent event, High Intensity, it just revealed that Crew initially attacked main event, making a statement. So practically, this is now for the titles. Now, on to our developments. As you all know, last week we saw Dustin Rhodes lose the TNT title to Kyle Fletcher. He just revealed that his knees are destroyed. He'll be going under the knife on August 21st, and he will be getting 2 knee replacements. Now, it's still unclear how long he'll be out. We do know he did sign a new deal with AEW. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same kind of scenario we're seeing with, of course, Tanahashi. As you know, Tanahashi's knees are already shot up, so we'll see how that's going. Now, this interesting subject, many people probably will not like to hear it. They don't want to hear nothing about it. I understand that, guys. Now, just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reporting what I've been seeing now on social media. Many of you may remember Joey Ryan, the same guy who, as you know, who was an amazing independent wrestler we've been following. However, as you know, back in 2020, he was involved in a situation of the speaking out movement where his name has been mentioned by plenty of women who spoke out against him of allegations of sexual assault and that sort of thing. Now, Joey Ryan, as you know, because of these allegations, lost everything, being involved in promotions and wrestling. Of course, earlier in the day, it was revealed that he was booked for the first time in 5 years. However, hours later, it was revealed that the promoter decided to cancel his flight, cancel the match. Now, I'm sure many people want to see Joey Ryan die and burn, that sort of thing, and I understand that. There's still those who support him. So I'm not saying I support Joey Ryan or I don't want to that I want to see him burn. I'm just saying this is what's happening now. Now, of course, I'm sure half of you or maybe a small number of you would want to see him come back, and probably majority of you would think, we don't give a shit about Joey Ryan. And I get it, guys. I get it. I'm just putting out what I'm saying, what I've been reporting. So that's pretty much it. Now, our final development here, many of you know this already, Brooke Hogan, as you know, has not spoken to her father since 2023. As you know, her father is the late Hulk Hogan. Uh, Later, Brooke Hogan revealed something that was interesting, if you guys remember. She recently revealed that she has asked to be removed from the will, and that's exactly why she did what happened. She's not involved in the will, and she revealed why she did it. And it turns out that her father, Hulk Hogan, was involved with shady people, and that's the reason she removed herself out of it, out of fear for her life. And it's very understandable. If you know someone who is in fact involved with shady people, and they're going to give you huge inheritance, whatever you do, guys, do not get involved. And I seen something similar like this. If you guys ever saw that documentary with Dark Side of the Ring with the FWM, the Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling. Apparently, the promoter at the time, after Onita was out, apparently the family had lost everything due to the fact that the promoter at the time made deals with the Yakuzas, and you know how that is. Sorry about that. So I'm not sure if there was something similar to this. I don't know exactly how shady these people Brooke mentioned, but if they were shady, and it's understandable that she does not want nothing to do with it, out of fear for herself and her now newly family. As you know, as you all know, Brooke Hogan is now a mother, so she has to think for the best for herself, for her mental health, and her family, of course, her husband and 2 kids. So we'll see what happens. If there's anything updating about Brooke Hogan resulting about the will, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, we are done with everything. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have WWE Evolve and AEW Dynamite. So as you know, AEW Dynamite will be, of course, issuing battle lines for the upcoming pay-per-view in London, the Forbidden Door. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And of course, for WWE Evolve, we know that a lot of things is going to happen. As you know, targets are now being targeted for the newly crowned men's and women's Evolve champions. So we'll see what happens from there. So as of right now, we'll see what happens. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.